नमस्ते हरिः ओम्। गुणातीतमानं चिदानन्दरूपं चिदाभासकं सर्वगं ध्यानगम्यं मुनिध्येयमाकाशरूपं परेशं परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम. A very good evening to all of you. Team Param Vedanta welcomes you all to the 63rd session of Bhagavad Gita, verse by verse. Today happens to be a very unique program as we celebrate the Gita Jayanti Utsava. Though the exact date of rendering of Bhagavad Gita remains debatable, it is clearly older than 5,000 years and must have been through various stages of writing, rearranging, editing, and so on. On this auspicious day of Dakshinayana, Hemanta Rutu, Margashira Masa, Sarvesham Ekadashi, Bhagavad Gita Jayanti is celebrated. Vyasa, a great poet and visionary, also a contemporary of Sri Krishna, composed the work after the war was over. He recorded for posterity the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna with all its spiritual significance. Known both as the Jivana Shastra and Moksha Shastra, Bhagavad Gita has many commentaries by great masters like Shankara, Ramanuja, Abhinavagupta, Neelakanta, Sridhara, Anandavardhana, Madhusudana Saraswati, and others. Madhusudana Saraswati, a great devotee of Lord Krishna, composed the Dhyana Shlokas of Bhagavad Gita along with his commentary Gudhartha Deepika, and it is a tradition to chant these shlokas before the study. I invite Kumari Manaswini Hegde from the Yedature Yoganandeshwara Matha to chant the Dhyana Shlokas. Over to Kumari Manaswini.
ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಶ್ರುತಿ ಸ್ಮೃತಿ ಪುರಾಣಾನಾಂ ಆಲಯಂ ಕರುಣಾಲಯಂ ನಮಾಮಿ ಭಗವತ್ಪಾದಂ ಶಂಕರಂ ಲೋಕಶಂಕರಂ. ಓಂ ಪಾರ್ಥಾಯ ಪ್ರತಿಬೋಧಿತಾಂ ಭಗವತಾ ನಾರಾಯಣೇನ ಸ್ವಯಂ ವ್ಯಾಸೇನ ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम्. अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी. नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः. पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम्. लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद् भारत पंकजं कलिमलप्रध्वंसि न श्रेयसे. मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्. वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरनन्दिनी कैवर्तकः केशवः यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಫುಟವಾಗಿ, ಶುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ, ಸರಾಗವಾಗಿ, ಸುಲಲಿತವಾಗಿ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳನ್ನ ಮಂಡಿಸಿದ ಕುಮಾರಿ ಮನಸ್ವಿನಿಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಅಮೋಘವಾಗಿತ್ತು ಕಂದ. Decades ago, Bhagavad Gita was a relatively unknown text meant for academic purposes and philosophers. The first translation of Gita took place in 1785 by Charles Wilkins under the patronage of Governor General Warren Hastings. It was translated into German then in 1823. Famous personalities like Aldous Huxley, Hegel, Arthur Schopenhauer, and others studied the Bhagavad Gita and made their notes upon that. In India, Sri Aurobindo Ghosh, Mahatma Gandhiji, Lokmanya Balagangadhar Tilak, and others made Gita more popular and made it a national text. But the credit of bringing Gita to every household and to the individual level largely goes to Swami Chinmayanandaji and the popular Gita Jnana Yajnas that he conducted. The role of Gita as a ready reckoner for various aspects of life is being highlighted and understood, as in Gita in management, Gita and the life values, and so on. Our Guru, Swami Paramarthanandaji, has guided us through the journey of studying Bhagavad Gita through his lectures and notes. It has brought in a subtle transformation in many, many seekers, and who else can articulate that better than our neuropsychiatrist, Dr. Divakar Gautam. I invite Dr. Divakar to speak on the subject, information to transformation.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. The relevance of Bhagavad Gita is becoming a reality to all of us only because of the Guru Parampara. We are eternally indebted to all the Gurus, especially Pujya Swami Paramarthanandaji, for simplifying each word of Gita teaching and making it relevant to our day-to-day life. Next slide, sir. Bhagavad Gita, we all know, is a moksha shastra which is milked by Lord Krishna from the Upanishads, which deal with the Gnana Yoga. Krishna's main purpose of teaching Gita is to guide all the sadhakas, all the students, to Jivan Mukti, which is total liberation from the sufferings of the samsara in this life itself. Krishna says, Jivan Mukta is a Gnananishta for whom God is neither the means nor the end, but the God is the very self. And such a Jivan Mukta revels with one's own self without any external dependence. This is Atmanyeva Atmanatushtaha. This Gnani with this sense mastery will be equanimous at all times, despite the ups and downs of the external world. A Gnani doesn't identify with one's actions nor its results. Next slide, sir. Can everyone become a Gnananishta? While the simple answer for this is yes, Krishna says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvataha. Among thousands of human beings, only a few seek liberation. Among those few, Only rare ones will attain liberation. While this glorifies the Atmagnanam and the spiritual seeker, the concern for some seekers is whether they will attain Jivan Mukti state despite having all the knowledge and the access to the Gurus and the Shastras. The doubt is whether the information of the self-knowledge will lead to transformation or not. The biggest obstacle for the spiritual progress is the strong body-mind identification. This in turn is due to the strong sense pleasures because of the interactions between the sense organs and the sense objects. This leads to the mind misery and the spiritual obstruction despite having the self-knowledge. Yehi samsparshaya bhogaha dukkha yonaya evate. Next slide, sir. Krishna also says the inherent nature of the very mind is its restlessness or the fickleness. Manah chanchalam, and is difficult to restrain, durnigraham. The degree of restlessness and its impact varies depending on our personality, the vasanas, past memory, and the sense objects. The wandering mind captivated by the sense pleasures will lead to transient joy, anxiety, addictions, anger, sadness, etc. And this will further lead to the clouding of one's judgment on what is the right thing and what is not. Such misplaced intellect will find it difficult to fully accept even the right knowledge which is coming from the right sources or even from the right person. Misplaced curiosity and the unwanted overload of information from the media, social media, etc. on the uncontrollables will further worsen the spiritual progression. Swamiji says that while we have to accept the uncontrollables, we have to perform the right actions for the controllables. We should know what is my duty in a particular situation and how should I perform this duty to the best of my ability in a rightful way. This is Swadharma or Mama Dharma. Interestingly, the first word of Gita is Dharma and the last word is Mama. Doing Mama Dharma sincerely without worrying about the results over a period of time will lead to the mind purity, which will help in the transformation. Next slide, sir. Krishna says the fickle mind can be restrained by the Gruhyate Vairagyena Abhyasena, through the detachment from the sense pleasures and practicing the mind mastery. And whose responsibility is this? This is our own responsibility using our own mind and our own free will. Uddharet atmana atmanam atmanat avasadayet atmanyeva atmana bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanaha. One should uplift oneself by oneself through the mindful monitoring of the thoughts, emotions, intellect, and the actions over a period of time through the efforts of karma and the upasana yoga. One shouldn't lower oneself. Mind is our best friend or a worst enemy. Which one to nurture is completely our choice. And this determines whether the information of the self-knowledge will lead to transformation or not. Hari Om. Krishnam Vande Jagadguru.
Thank you, Dr. Divakar, for a very profound insight. The realm and reach of Bhagavad Gita is very wide and vast. In the Gita Mahatmya, it is said, Maline mochanam pumsam jalasnanam dine dine sakrit gitamrita snanam samsara malanashanam. That is, one may cleanse himself daily by taking bath. But if one takes a bath even once in the sacred Ganges of Bhagavad Gita, the samsara syndrome or the samsara mala is totally vanquished for him. Let's now listen to a popular Kannada number which brings out this philosophy called Nane Yamba Bhava, penned by Sri Hunasuru Krishnamurti, music by Sri Rajan Nagendra, and the original singer was Sri P.P. Srinivas. Dr. Diksha, our young enthusiastic participant, will sing this song for us.
Hari Om. Shri Krishna
ಗೀತೆಯ ಮರ್ಮವಾ ತಿಳಿಸಿದೆಯೋ ಒಳಗಿನ ಕಣ್ಣನು ತೆರೆಸಿದೆಯೋ ಗೀತೆಯ ಮರ್ಮವಾ ತಿಳಿಸಿದೆಯೋ ನಾನೇ ಎಂಬ ಭಾವ ನಾಶವಾಯಿತು ನೀನೇ ಎಂಬ ನೀತಿ ನಿಜವಾಯಿತು ನಾನೇ ಎಂಬ ಭಾವ ನಾಶವಾಯಿತು ನೀನೇ ಎಂಬ ನೀತಿ ನಿಜವಾಯಿತು ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹೇ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹೇಳಿದ ನೀತಿಯ ಕೇಳದೆ ಹೋದೆ ಕೇಳಿ ನಡೆಯದೆ ಅವಿವೇಕಿಯಾದೆ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ನಾನು ನನ್ನದೇ ಎಂದು ನಂಬಿದೆನಯ್ಯೋ ಶಾಶ್ವತವೆಂದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಪೊಳ್ಳು ತಿಳಿದೆನು ಎಂದು ನಾನು ಮಿಥ್ಯ ನೀನು ಸತ್ಯ ನಾನೇ ಎಂಬ ಭಾವ ನಾಶವಾಯಿತು ನೀನೇ ಎಂಬ ನೀತಿ ನಿಜವಾಯಿತು ನಾನೇ ಎಂಬ ಭಾವ ನಾಶವಾಯಿತು ನೀನೇ ಎಂಬ ನೀತಿ ನಿಜವಾಯಿತು ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹೇ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಬಂಧು ಬಳಗ ರಾಗಭೋಗಗಳ ವೈಭೋಗ ಕಾಲನು ಬಂದು ಬಾಯಂದಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಶೂನ್ಯ ಚಿತೆಯೇರುವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶೂನ್ಯ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಶೂನ್ಯ ಉಳಿಯುವುದೊಂದೇ ದಾನ ಧರ್ಮ ತಂದ ಪುಣ್ಯ ನಾನೇ ಎಂಬ ಭಾವ ನಾಶವಾಯಿತು ನೀನೇ ಎಂಬ ನೀತಿ ನಿಜವಾಯಿತು ಒಳಗಿನ ಕಣ್ಣನು ತೆರೆಸಿದೆಯೋ ಗೀತೆಯ ಮರ್ಮವಾ ತಿಳಿಸಿದೆಯೋ ನಾನೇ ಎಂಬ ಭಾವ ನಾಶವಾಯಿತು ನೀನೇ ಎಂಬ ನೀತಿ ನಿಜವಾಯಿತು ಹೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹೇ ಶ್ರೀ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು
Thank you, Dr. Diksha, for a very soulful rendering. In fact, all our journey is just for that. Nane yamba bhava, nasha madalu. Thank you so much. The Gita addresses all sects and all those in various situations, men and women. In fact, a wide range of seekers from a commoner to an evolved soul, from a simple family man to one who has renounced. They're all in the purview of Bhagavad Gita. The teaching is universal because of its wide targets and ranges from Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam to the highest, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. It has dealt with questions ranging from devotion of ordinary people up to the involved logic in steps. Let's listen to Dr. Sundar, a renowned plastic surgeon, an ardent Vedantin, and an ideal student who will share his views on unified approach to Advaita in Bhagavad Gita.
Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. As we see in this slide, Swami Paramarthananda ji breaks down the steps that we need to take on our spiritual journey into 3 simple steps. The first step is of the nature of doing. I have to take to Karma Upasana Yoga so that I get Jnana Yogyata. Having got the prerequisite Jnana Yogyata, I then take to the second step, which is of the nature of knowing. In this step, which comprises of Shravanam and Mananam, the early part of the Jnana Yoga, the Guru uses the Shastram as a mirror to show me my true nature. Thus far, I have believed to be of the nature of body-mind complex. Now the Guru shows through the scriptures that, in fact, my true nature is that of Atma Swarupam. In the last step, which comprises of the later part of the Jnana Yoga called Nididhyasanam, I constantly revise my perspective from my earlier belief of body-mind complex to the new teaching, which is Atma Swarupam. As we shall see later, Atma Swarupam is of the nature of freedom. Therefore, the last step is described as becoming free, becoming emotionally free. This state of being is described as moksha. The Sampradaya gives a working definition of moksha as freedom from inner emotional turmoil despite favorable or unfavorable external circumstances, a kind of mental strength, mental immunity, and this all based on Atma Jnanam that one has come through the teaching of the Gita and Vedanta. The question now comes, what is this Atma Jnanam that allows one to have this wonderful state of being where despite external adversities, I can have equanimity internally? For this, Vedanta gives a very popular example to show us how the cause permeates and pervades all the effects, and the cause alone is. It teaches this through the example of clay and pot, the clay being the cause and the pot being the effect. So the scriptures teach us that the pot as effect, although it is experienceable, although that it has transactability, although it has utility, it doesn't really exist. The scriptures say that the pot is experientially available, but factually absent. Mithya. The scriptures go on to explain that this is so because if we remove clay from the pot disappears. The only substantial portion in this is the clay. It is clay and clay all along. Vedanta then transfers this knowledge and says that Atma and Anatma share a similar relationship of cause and effect. Atma and Jagat share a similar relationship. Atma as the cause and the body-mind complex as effect share a similar relationship. Atma alone is there and Anatma is Kevala Nama Rupa alone. This form of knowledge is what is called as Advaitam, Kaivalyam, Advitiyam, Ekam. And since Anatma, the body-mind complex, and all the emotional problems belong to it, is of the nature of Mithya, it cannot touch the Atma Swarupam. This then forms the fundamental basis for this state of being that culminates to this knowledge. Although the Gita presents this entire spectrum, great commentators like Adi Shankaracharya focus on the end result and say that Nididhyasanam, delivering Advaitam, alone is the core essence of Gita. Thereby they call Gita as Moksha Shastra. How to use this knowledge in our day-to-day life? We can see that an enlightened master, the world remains the same. His anatomical personality also remains the same. What then changes in an enlightened master that he is able to sustain this state of being? Let us, in this next slide, see how we can incorporate the teaching of the Gita in our day-to-day lives. We can see in the slide that the thing that has changed in the enlightened master is the mind. The teachings of Gita restructure brick by brick, thought by thought, the mind of the enlightened master. We see here there are 3 levels. In the level 1 is how the mind behaves for most of us before we are exposed to Vedanta, or even after exposure to Vedanta when we are not alert about ourselves. The arrows which are directed away from the mind are the acts that I do through the day. And the arrows which are pointed towards the mind are the experiences that accrue to me out of my acts. Normally, the raga dveshas, the likes and dislikes which are there in each of our mind, they condition my acts according to the whims and fancies of the mind I act. Similarly, the experiences that accrue to me are colored by the ragadveshas. And these ragadveshas themselves are born out of the proportion of guna in each of us and the vasanas, which are imprints from the present as well as the past lives. Unfortunately, God's creation, which is ever beautiful, because it is being colored by one's likes and dislikes, is being converted into Jiva Srishti. This form of being is described by Pujya Swami Paramarthananda Ji as a life of world dependence. The world is not dependable. Therefore, life becomes a miserable roller coaster ride of joy and sorrow. Now, the Gita has 2 levels at which it tries to rescue our mind. The second level, which is described in this blue bubble, is one where one, through the process of karma upasana yoga, is now able to condition the mind, take him away from ragadveshas, and bring in Ishvara Arpanam and Ishvara Prasada Bhava. As I go through the day, whenever there is an opportunity for a particular act, or whenever I experience a particular experience, the Gita is telling us, be alert, don't be conditioned by ragadvesha. Instead, enforce your free will, exercise every act through Ishvara Arpanam, and accept every experience that accrues to you through Ishvara Prasada. This way, in level 2, I am able to experience Ishvara Srishti as it is, without coloring by ragas and dveshas. Raga dvesha rob my free will and prevent me from exercising Ishvara Arpana Bhava. They make me to react and prevent me from exercising Ishvara Prasada Bhava. Verily, the mind with its raga dveshas sweeps me away from the present. We have to be very alert at each moment to see whether I am in the present. If I am not in the present, I have been swept away by the raga dveshas. Gita is asking us in this level 2, be careful, don't be under the sway of raga dveshas. Whenever you act, enforce Ishvara Arpana Bhava. Whenever you experience, apply Ishvara Prasada Bhava. Unfortunately, the level 2 has its problems. For one, the doership remains. There is a lot of punyam that is generated, and that will result in punarjanma. The second issue is, as was faced by Arjuna in the chapters of the Gita, towards the end of the 3rd chapter, Atak kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha. Although there is relative samatvam, the ragadveshas still have an ability to rear their ugly head up once in a while. Also, there is a burden of responsibility, even though I am doing Ishvara Arpana Bhava. For example, as a surgeon, I might have to deliver in a particular operation. So there is a burden of responsibility. Also, as was in Arjuna's case, the duty at hand remained for him unpleasant even after applying Ishvara Arpanam. So for all this, the Gita is offering a 3rd level, an ultimate weapon which will do away with raga dveshas for good. This is represented by this entire large yellow bubble. So in this, the Advaita Jnanam comes to the rescue. Here, we understand that the entire Anatma Prapancha is mithya, as we have seen earlier from the example of clay and pot. Thus far, in level 1 and 2, there was no Atma Anatma Viveka. This is the religious portion. This is the Karma Kanda. This is the Veda Purva Bhaga. The level 3 is unique that it is a Sara of the Upanishads. In this level, the Atma Anatma Viveka comes in. As long as we are able to have this conviction that there is Karya Mithyatva Nischayatvam or Anatma Mithyatva Nischayatvam, as long as one has this, then the Anatma can never touch us. If there is no second thing, how can there be Raga Dvesha towards anything? Sarvatra Atma Darshanam is what the Gita professes as the highest level. In this level of Advaita Jnanam, there is then no scope for Raga Dveshas whatsoever, and one allows his body-mind complex, the material portion of him, the Anatma portion of him, to be engaged in excellence, 100%, delivering the Ishvara Arpana Bhava, while one can then stay back, witnessing everything as the Shakshi Chaitanyam, being in the awareness that I do not do anything. In my mere presence, the Anatma body-mind complex is interacting with the Anatma world. So this understanding comes through several verses of the Gita. In this next slide are few representative verses which shows the 3 levels. So the highest level is brought through several verses in the 4th, 5th, and the 18th chapter. Some of them are quite cryptic, like the 18th verse of the 4th chapter, the 24th verse of the 4th chapter. However, there are certain verses where Lord Krishna, maybe out of compassion, gives out as if it were an instrument that I can verily use in my life to transform myself. As in this 8th and 9th verses of the 5th chapter, Naiva Kinchit Karomiti Yukta Manyeta Tattvavit. This represents my understanding when I abide in my Atma Swarupam, the Sakshi Chaitanyam, the non-doer, while the last portion of the 9th verse, Indriyan Indriyarteshu Vartanta iti dharayan. I have this awareness that I am the non-doer, yet I allow my body-mind complex, the material portion in me, to be involved 100% in what I do, to have the excellence at the transactional level. This is the unified approach to Advaitam as a solution for all problems of samsara. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for the brilliant, comprehensive, doubt-dispelling, and thought-provoking talk. Yogastha Kuru Karmani, Sangam Tyaktva Dhananjaya, Siddhya Siddhyo Samo Bhutva, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Something that we all look forward to be actually practicing and learning it completely. We also know of the various personalities from T.S. Eliot during his stint in Harvard, Philip Glass, the 20th century American composer, Sunita Williams, the astronaut, and of course, Annie Besant, and many, many others who have been influenced by the Bhagavad Gita. In fact, in our class of Team Param Vedanta, we have students ranging from 48 months. Yes, I say it again, 48 months, the 4-year-old kid to the learned masters and teachers. We will now have chanting by little Ananya, a 4-year-old girl, who will be chanting some shlokas of Bhagavad Gita to us. And I'm sure it's going to be sheer joy listening to this little angel.
Okay, start.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Ashocyanam ashocyastva Pragnavadancha bhashashe Gatasuna gatasunshche Nanusochanti pandita प्रजाहाति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थमनोगतान् आत्मन्येयात्मना तुष्टः स्थिरप्रज्ञस्तुज्यते परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्महवेर् ब्रह्मण्यो ब्रह्मणाहुतः ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्मकर्म समाधिनाम् उद्धरेतात्मनात्मानाम् आत्मनावसादये आत्मैवात्मना बन्धुः आत्मैव मनुष्याणां सहस्रेषु कश्चिद्यतति सिद्धये यततामपि सिद्धानां कश्चिन्मां वेत्ति तत्त्वतः भूमिरापो नलो वायुः कं मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकार इति यं मे भिन्ना प्रकृतिरस्तदा मत्तः परतरं नान्यत् किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जना पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम् क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत क्षेत्रज्ञयोर् ज्ञानं यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम अभयं सत्त्वसंशुद्धिः ज्ञानयोगं व्यवस्थितिः दानं दमश्च यज्ञश्च स्वाध्यायस्तपार्जवम् यत्र योगेश्वरो कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धुनः तत्र श्रीविजया भूति द्वानीतर्मधर्मम हरि ओम थैंक यू
Thank you so much, Ananya. I'm sure the blessings of all the viewers and of Swayam Lord Shri Krishna will be on you and your parents for this beautiful rendition. In fact, these classes have had so much of a deep impact on many people. But few take it forward and share their joy, and most importantly, share it with their kids and in their community. Team Param Vedanta appreciates and congratulates Dr. Sachin for this yeoman service he is rendering in his community. Despite being a very sought-after plastic surgeon, he has donned the role of a Gita teacher for the kids. We shall now listen to a few of them talk about their experiences of the Gita classes and also listen to them chanting some verses from Bhagavad Gita. Over to the brilliant young students of Bhagavad Gita class.
Namaste all, my name is Vedika. I am studying in first standard. I love reading God stories. I enjoy Bhagavad Gita class. I try to learn shlokas. Dhanyavad. Hari Om. I am Raghav. I like Bhagavad Gita because I learned many stories and verses from our Puranas. Thank you. Hari Om. I am Pritibas Bhattacharya. Everyone calls me Vishnu. I read in class 2. I like learning Gita as Gita has taught me the difference between divine and the demonic natures of human being. It has taught me to be kind, humble, respectful, and maintaining cleanliness, which are all divine. Now I know that I should not be arrogant and not do something which harms others. Dhanyavad. Hari Om. I'm Kavita. I'm in grade 3. I like reading Bhagavad Gita because I think it is communication between Lord Krishna and us. Lord Krishna taught us how we should ideally lead our life. Chinna Mudra. Chinna Mudra has 5 parts. This is Lord Krishna. This is Arjuna, which is all of us in the world. This is Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. We should leave these 3 to get near God. Dhanyavad. Hari Om. Hari Om. I am Vidhi Priyam from class 4. I am 9 years old. I like learning Gita because it is interesting and helpful. From the very first day of learning, I felt that I was slowly getting away from the 3 parts of samsara. I also learned that to get success in life, we have to work hard and be happy from the 3rd chapter, Karma Yoga. I learned that we have to be kind to every living being on this planet. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Namaste, my name is Narayani. I'm studying in grade 5. To learn my itihasas, I learned Bhagavad Gita. I came to know that Bhagavad Gita comes in the middle of Mahabharata. It has 18 chapters and 700 verses. In one of those chapters, I learned about 72 glories or vibhutis about Lord. The chapter name is Vibhuti Yoga, or also known as the 10th chapter. Hari Om.
Namaste, my name is Akshita and I am studying in 6th standard. Today I am going to talk about how Bhagavad Gita has helped me in my day-to-day life. Gita has helped me to reduce my laziness and anger. The 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Devi Asuri Sampata Vibhaga Yoga, teaches us 18 values of Devi Sampat which we should follow in our life and 18 values of Asuri Sampat which we should avoid. Dhanyavad.
Namaste to all. My name is Padma Lakshmi and I'm 13 years old. I've been attending Bhagavad Gita class for over 5 months. I've learned so many good stories and so many principles which is so useful. Today let me talk about Ahara, which means nutritious food. Sri Rama used to say that all yogic rules and regulation, in all that the best is sattvic food. Sattvic diet should be adhered in order to enhance both the health of the body as well as purity, strength and calmness of mind. Dhanyavad.
Namaste, I'm Sahana and I study in the 8th grade. The Bhagavad Gita classes has encouraged me to have discipline, kindness and integrity. It was a slow but sure process. I've also learned that the Bhakti Yoga is the path of devotion and that's a method of attaining God through love. It also helps us to maintain the peace of mind and attain moksha. Hari Om.
Namaste, Hari Om. I'm Chidipta Rai and I'm studying in grade 9. I like reading the Bhagavad Gita because it helps me in becoming a better person. In chapter 3, Karma Yoga, the Bhagavad Gita teaches us that karma is one of the most important things in one's life. We should work very hard and not focus on the results. We should give our 100% in whatever we do. It inculcates the behavior of seeing good in all situations. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us to follow our dharma even in bad situations. Dhanyavad. Hari.
Hari Om. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yadati siddhaye yadakamati siddhana kaschid mameti tattvataha maya parataram nanyata kinchirasya dhananjaya mani sarvamidam protam sutre manigana Hari Om.
Thank you so much to all of you. I had heard of a Pied Piper those days and I saw it in reality today. Wonderfully done by Pied Piper Dr. Sachin to bring the whole team together. Team of Narayani, Vedika, Kavin, Vishnu, Vidhi, Padma, Akshita, Sahana, Srinidhi and Sanika. Extremely well done. Kudos to all of you, my dear kids, from all of us at Team Param Vedanta. Thanks to the sheer brilliance of the students and the dedication of their teacher and parents. God bless. DVG ಅವರು ಕಗ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ ನುಡಿಯುತ್ತಾರೆ, ಗರ್ವಪಡದುಪಕಾರಿ ದರ್ಪ ಬಿಟ್ಟಧಿಕಾರಿ ಗರ್ವಪಡದುಪಕಾರಿ ದರ್ಪ ಬಿಟ್ಟಧಿಕಾರಿ ನಿರ್ವಿಕಾರದ ನಯನದಿಂ ನೋಳ್ಪುದಾರಿ ಸರ್ವಧರ್ಮಾಧಾರಿ ನಿರ್ವಾಣ ಸಂಚಾರಿ ಊರ್ವರೆಗೆ ಗುರುವವನು ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಗೈಡ್, ಮೆಂಟರ್, ಫಿಲಾಸಫರ್, ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ಗುರುವಾಗಿರುವ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹೆಗ್ಗಡೆಯವರಿಗೆ ಈ ಮಾತು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಸೂಕ್ತವೆನಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಸಹಜವಾಗಿ ಉತ್ಪ್ರೇಕ್ಷೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದಂತೆ ತಾವಿದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೆಯೇ ಗೀತೆಯ ಪಥದಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆದೊಯ್ಯುತ್ತಿರುವ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹೆಗ್ಗಡೆಯವರು ಇಂದಿನ ಗೀತಾ ಜಯಂತಿಯ ಸಂದೇಶವನ್ನು ನೀಡಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Over to Dr. Hegde for the message of Gita Jayanti for the day.
Thank you, Dr. Ahalya. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. The greatness of the Bhagavad Gita is its potential to transform all of us. While we study the Bhagavad Gita, we should be very clear what is the means and what is the goal. The goal is not any form of scholarship. The goal is to see how the Bhagavad Gita can transform the way we live our lives. When the Bhagavad Gita was originally given to Arjuna by Lord Shri Krishna, it was simultaneously heard by Dhritarashtra through Sanjaya. You will see how it has transformed all those people who first heard the Bhagavad Gita. Dhritarashtra underwent no change at all. Sanjaya was transformed. This great verse that you can see, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara. The concluding verses of the Bhagavad Gita given to us by a charioteer shows the extent of transformation, where he says, whenever you club the higher values in all of us represented by Shri Krishna, clubbed with Dhanurdhara Partha, that means our determination to give our very best, success in all dimensions in the world becomes possible. This is my opinion. That is the words of Sanjaya, who was transformed just by listening to Shri Krishna. These are the words of Arjuna, who was completely shattered and broken down at the beginning of the war. In the 73rd verse, tells Shri Krishna with a lot of conviction, Nashto moha, all my doubts have been dispelled, all my delusions are all gone. Now, how has it influenced us? How does it affect the way we work? How does it affect the way we live? Is what we do, like our prayer, our work, and our life, can all these three be integrated? And that is how Bhagavad Gita can now become a kind of a transformation. The pinnacle of Karma Yoga, given in this verse 50 of the second chapter, which brings in what is called Jnana Karma Sannyasa, which means if I am able to inculcate spiritual wisdom in karma. The word is Buddhi Yukto Jahatiha. That means when I am anchored in spiritual wisdom, how does such a person work? This transformation is what our teacher Puja Swami Paramatmananda Ji wants us to do. Again and again he repeats this in his teachings, that at some stage we have to make a shift from the triangular format of Jiva Jagat Ishvara to the binary format of being very clear that I am Atma, everything else is Anatma. Once you have this vision of the binary format, you have moved from Jiva Jagat Ishvara. How does such a person work? For such a person, Ube Shukrute Dushkrute, there is no more Punya or Papa. Then how do I work? As Atma, there is nothing to do, there is nowhere to go. You are already that which you can possibly be. But as body mind, there is a certain agenda, there is a certain amount of tasks to perform. You facilitate, you allow the body mind to do whatever is my role. And that is what Shri Krishna calls skill in action. And that is the highest way that we allow our work roles and we work with relatively effortless ease. And this is what is called Jnana Karma Sannyasa, when you integrate spiritual knowledge into our daily work, clubbed with the presence of Ishvara in our lives all the time. Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu. That means that all the time can I have Anusmaran, can can Sri Krishna be a part, even as I'm speaking, that I'm so grateful for this knowledge. If I can acknowledge Sri Krishna in every act that I do, in every breath that I take. How is that you can do so much work and still have Sri Krishna in the background? You see a mother of a young child, she will be doing so much work, but at the same time, she's all the time aware of her child. That is how you're able to keep the Lord in all that we do. Bhagavad Gita is a moksha shastra. Sri Krishna again and again wants us to attain to mukti while alive. And this is an often quoted verse that when Arjuna asked Sri Krishna about the qualities of a Jivan Mukta, Sri Krishna brilliantly replies, and that is what should be our vision. Atmanevatmana tushtaha. I understand my true nature. I revel in my true nature. I know I am complete just by myself. And once you have this vision, you're able to see everyone as yourself. Atma aupamena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham va yadiva dukkam. Shri Krishna says, if you have this kind of a vision, if you are able to see everyone as not other than you, if you are able to identify with everyone else, that is going to transform your life. And Shri Krishna very humbly says, this is my opinion. For more than a year or more than 2 years, I didn't have an occasion to travel. And recently I had to travel and I had to pack my bag. And when I was packing my bag, suddenly this verse from Tagore reminded me. I will read this verse for you, which has so much of relevance to Advaita Vedanta. Thou hast made me known to friends whom I knew not. Thou hast given me seats in homes not my own. Thou hast brought the distant near and made a brother of the stranger. I am uneasy at heart when I have to leave my accustomed shelter. I forget there abides the old and the new, and there also thou abidest. Through birth and death in this world or the others, wherever thou leadest me, thou art the same, the one companion of my endless life who linkest my heart with bonds of joy to the unfamiliar. When one knows thee, Bhagavad Gita is a moksha shastra. In the 9th chapter, in the 7th chapter, Sri Krishna says, this is Raja Yoga, this is the Raja Guhya Yoga. This is the greatest secret. Knowing this, there is nothing more worth knowing. When one knows thee, then alien there is none, no door is shut. Oh, grant me my prayer that I may never lose the bliss of the one in the play of the many. If I am able to live with the thought of Ishvara in my life all the time, as we studied in the 8th chapter, which is also called the Taraka Brahma Yoga, where Upasana becomes an integral part of life. There is a nice quote in the Ashtavakra Gita which says, Ya matihi sagatihi. Whatever are your thoughts, so you become. Now, once Sri Krishna, once the Lord is there in part of your life, death, which is normally considered a very uncomfortable or a painful process. Why is it uncomfortable and painful? As this stotra says, Ati Bhishana Kalubhashana Yamakinkara Patale. When the time comes to depart this body, there will be a certain amount of suffering because of these Yamakinkaras, Yamadutas, who can be very noisy, who can be very unruly, who can be very rude. But the author says, oh my Lord, you are Yamashasana. You must come along with Uma and dance in my heart. Shiva Shankara, Hara Me Durita. And if I have you in my mind, and this is possible through the study of the Bhagavad Gita, this is what Adi Shankara says, Bhagavad Gita Kinchid Adita. A study of the Bhagavad Gita should be such that you will disappear from Yamadharmaraja's list. You will be no longer, Yama will no longer have any charcha with you. You go out of that list. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for bringing in all the aspects that we need for our day-to-day existence and learning and implementing Bhagavad Gita in daily life. In fact, I remember a Subhashita here, which says, Ananta Shastram Bahuvedittavyam. There are many Shastras. Alpascha Kalo Bahavascha Vignaha. The time is little and the obstacles are many. Yat Sarabhotam Tadupasitavyam. Let's just get what the essence is. And we already know Bhagavad Gita by itself is an essence of the Upanishads. And we had the essence of that essence just now. And thank you so much for this talk of yours. We now move on to the next program, which would be the Bhagavad Gita Arati song, which will be rendered to us by Srimati Radha Ravi.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Jai Jai Bhagavad Gita. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Jai Jai Bhagavad Gita. Hariya Kamala Viharini. Hariya Kamala Viharini. Sundar Supunite. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Karma Sumarma Prakashini. Kama Shakti Hara. Tatvajnana Vikashini. Tatvajnana Vikashini. Vidya Brahma Para. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Nischala Bhakti Vidayini. Nirmal Manhari. Sharana Rahasya Pradayini. Sharana Rahasya Pradayini. Sabvidhi Sukhkari. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Raga Dvesha Vidharini. Karini Mod Sada. Bhava Bhaya Harini Tarini. Bhava Bhaya Harini Tarini. Paramananda Prada. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Asura Bhava Vinashini. Nashini Kramarajani. Daivi Sadgunadayini. Daivi Sadgunadayini. Harirasika Sajni. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Samata Tyaga Sikavani. Hari Mukti Bhani. Sakala Shastra Ki Swamini. Sakala Shastra Ki Swamini. Shrutiyon Ki Rani. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Daya Sudha Varsavani. Matu Krupa Ki Jai. Haripada Prema Dhankar. Haripada Prema Dhankar. Apunon Ki Rali. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Jai Jai Bhagavad Gita. Hariya Kamala Viharini. Hariya Kamala Viharini. Sundar Supunite. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Radha Madam. To many of us, this song was new and very well sung. Thank you so much. I think I would end the class with yet another Kagga by DVG. Sharanu Hogu Jivana Rahasyadali. Sharanu Hogu Jivana Rahasyadali Satvadali. Sharanu Jivanava Sumavenipa Yatnadali. Sharanantaratva Gambira Prashantiyali. Sharanu Vishwatmadali Mankutimma. Let's surrender to the mystery of life, to the sattva of life. Let's surrender to the efforts which make life into a beautiful blossom. Let's surrender to the deep silence and calm. Let's surrender to the harmony and to the Vishwarupa that we see everywhere, says this Kagga by DVG. And it's completely possible with Guru's grace, Abhyasa and Vairagya. Hoping that the year will usher in more knowledge and better practice for all of us, we end this very special class of Gita Jayanti here. Our next class, the 64th session, will be on 17th December 2021 on Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 verses 18 to 23. Please do log in at the usual time. We have it's Param Vedanta's desire to offer substantial Guru Dakshina to our Gurus in the forthcoming event of Gita Jayanti. In fact, we do it twice a year, once during Guru Purnima and then during the Gita Jayanti. It's a small request to all the viewers to do their bit possible. In fact, we are thankful that we get this opportunity to offer our Dakshina to the Gurus for this great knowledge that we are learning. And with these words, I shall end the class with the customary Purnamadah Purnamidam. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.